Tomorrow morning, millions of Americans may wake up with a new financial reality in front of them, and it's critical to understand exactly what's happening before jumping to conclusions. The latest announcements from the White House have created a lot of buzz, especially for seniors, veterans, and Americans living on fixed incomes. With so many headlines, social media posts, and speculation circulating, it's easy to feel overwhelmed or misled. That's why it's worth slowing down, stepping back, and walking through the facts calmly and carefully without hype or panic. Recently, President Trump signed an executive order during a public ceremony that captured a lot of attention. Almost simultaneously, the White House confirmed a plan to issue new dividend payments to targeted groups of Americans. These two announcements happened side by side, which led to some confusion online. Many assumed the executive order was directly linked to the dividend checks, but in reality, they are separate matters. The executive order itself focused on supporting teenagers aging out of the foster care system. It was an emotional and important initiative, but it does not trigger or fund any new payments to seniors or lower and middle income households. Understanding that distinction is crucial because it allows us to focus on the actual policy that could impact your finances. Now let's move on to the core of the announcement that matters to millions: the dividend payments funded by tariff revenue. The White House has confirmed these payments are under serious consideration and that the administration is actively exploring ways to make them a reality. President Trump has emphasized that these payments would be targeted toward lower and middle-income Americans. That group includes a large number of seniors who rely on Social Security, veterans receiving disability payments or modest pensions, and families living on limited household incomes. The intention is to provide direct relief to the people feeling the greatest pressure from inflation, rising costs of living, and healthcare expenses. It's important to understand that this is not a program where everyone automatically qualifies. These payments are designed to help those most in need, which means high-income earners are excluded. Based on previous legislation supported by President Trump, eligibility may be capped at individuals earning under $100,000 annually. While official income limits have not yet been published, that gives us a reasonable expectation of who might be considered. Seniors living on Social Security, veterans relying on modest retirement or disability income, and households earning below that threshold would likely be included if the plan moves forward. Before you get too hopeful, there's an important reality to acknowledge. These payments have not yet been finalized. No legislation has been passed, no executive framework has been fully established, and no official timeline exists for when money could arrive. Statements from the administration signal serious intent, but until a legal mechanism is in place, nothing can be guaranteed. It's essential for seniors to approach this news with cautious optimism, hopeful but practical. You should not reorganize your finances around these potential payments or make decisions assuming the money is certain. Now, let's break down the source of these payments because knowing where the money comes from helps understand the likelihood of them materializing. The proposed funding source is tariff revenue. When the United States imposes tariffs on imported goods, companies bringing those items into the country must pay a fee to the government. This fee generates revenue that is deposited into the U.S. Treasury. The president has indicated that the revenue generated from these tariffs is substantial enough to support direct dividend payments to lower and middle-income Americans, while also contributing to reducing the national debt. This concept is not entirely new. A state-level comparison can be drawn with the Alaska Permanent Fund, which distributes yearly dividends to residents from profits generated by the state's oil resources. While tariffs and oil revenue are different, the underlying principle is similar. Government-generated funds can be redistributed to citizens as a form of direct financial support. The difference here is scale and source. We are potentially looking at a nationwide application funded by tariffs rather than oil, aimed at targeted populations. Even though the source is real and tangible, translating it into actual payments requires legal structure. Congress may need to pass legislation, or the administration will need a legally sound executive pathway that can withstand federal scrutiny and potential legal challenges. This is not a small step. Historically, every federal stimulus payment or similar distribution required a structured process with formal approval before a single dollar reached citizens' bank accounts. For example, during the pandemic, the first major stimulus payment required a full legislative act to define eligibility, amount, and distribution. The same applied to subsequent rounds. Even when the process moved quickly, it still took weeks for the money to be sent. With that history in mind, seniors should be aware that even if the administration is serious about issuing these dividend checks, it will take time. The earliest realistic timeline is likely several weeks or even months from the moment any formal plan is announced. Understanding this timeline is essential because it allows you to maintain stability in your budget rather than waiting for money that may take time to arrive. Planning responsibly means ensuring bills are paid, prescriptions are filled, and financial obligations are met without relying on unapproved payments. So, who stands to benefit the most if these payments are enacted? Seniors on fixed incomes are at the center of this discussion. For many, Social Security represents the primary source of income, covering essential needs such as rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, prescriptions, and medical expenses. A one-time payment of $2,000 could ease immediate pressure, fill gaps in medical or household budgets, and even provide a small cushion for unexpected costs. Veterans receiving modest pensions or disability benefits could see similar relief, which may help cover medical bills, transportation costs, or other pressing needs. Seniors who are caregivers for grandchildren or adult children could also experience meaningful support, helping them manage household expenses, school costs, and everyday necessities. While the relief this proposal promises is significant, it is not guaranteed. Nothing can be finalized until a legal framework is in place. Until then, seniors should focus on existing programs and resources available today. Assistance programs such as SNAP, energy support like the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, state-based rental aid, and pharmaceutical cost support programs are immediately accessible. Taking advantage of these options provides relief while waiting for potential new payments. It's also critical to be aware of scams. Big financial announcements often trigger fraudulent activity targeting seniors. Scammers may call, email, or message claiming to offer early access to payments or requiring fees to process funds. The government will never ask for money, social security numbers, or personal banking information to receive federal payments. Anyone requesting payment to unlock a check is attempting fraud. Hang up or ignore these messages and only rely on official sources for updates. Understanding the historical context of federal payments also helps set realistic expectations. During previous stimulus rounds, every payment required formal legal approval before distribution. Weeks passed between announcement and delivery, even when urgency was high. Applying this to the current dividend proposal, it's likely that once a legal structure is in place, distribution will still require processing time to ensure accuracy and compliance. Knowing this protects seniors from frustration and financial missteps while waiting. Despite the caution required, the public announcements carry weight. When a president repeatedly communicates a plan for direct payments, and when the administration confirms active consideration, momentum builds. Millions of Americans watching and anticipating funds create political and public pressure to act. While nothing is certain until approved, the combination of intent, public statements, and administrative focus suggests this is more than just a passing idea. Now let's consider the impact from a practical standpoint. A dividend of $2,000 per eligible American could provide substantial relief to the groups most affected by inflation and rising costs. It is designed to prioritize lower and middle-income households, seniors on fixed incomes, disabled Americans, and veterans with modest retirement or disability benefits. Even if the payment is one-time, it could help cover medical expenses, household bills, transportation, and essential needs, providing breathing room in otherwise tight budgets. At the same time, it is vital to approach the plan with realistic expectations. Seniors should continue to manage their finances carefully, maintain updated IRS information, and utilize existing support programs. Any potential dividend should be considered a supplement, not a foundation for major financial planning. Remaining grounded ensures peace of mind and prevents unnecessary stress if timelines are extended or eligibility criteria are refined. To summarize the current situation, here's what we know clearly. President Trump has publicly committed to providing targeted dividend payments to lower and middle-income Americans. The White House has confirmed that the plan is actively being considered. The funding source, tariffs, exists and could support these payments, and the intended recipients are those who are most financially vulnerable. At the same time, nothing is final. No law has passed, no executive mechanism is in place, and no timeline has been set. These facts form the foundation for understanding the announcement responsibly. The key takeaway for seniors is to balance hope with caution. While this proposal could provide meaningful support, it should not be the basis for immediate financial decisions. Continue budgeting around guaranteed income, maintain access to assistance programs, and protect personal information against scams. By staying informed and prepared, you position yourself to benefit if and when these payments are enacted, while preserving financial stability in the meantime. Finally, it's worth reflecting on the emotional aspect of this news. Financial uncertainty can be heavy, especially when you are living on a fixed income or managing health costs. It is normal to feel anxious when headlines circulate, but grounding yourself in verified information is empowering. You are not alone in navigating this landscape, and taking measured steps to protect your finances today can make a meaningful difference tomorrow. In conclusion, the dividend proposal is real, serious, and targeted at Americans who need support most, including seniors, veterans, disabled individuals, and low to middle income households. The momentum is genuine, but final approval is pending. Preparing yourself responsibly now by maintaining accurate information with tax authorities, using existing aid programs, and remaining aware of scams will ensure you are ready to benefit if these payments come to fruition. Stay informed, stay cautious, and continue managing your day-to-day needs with care. Balancing hope with practical preparation is the best approach in times like these.